Waiting for YouTube to come up. There we are. Welcome to Pausing for Prayer. It's Pastor Lori here from Fairton United Methodist Church, and I'm glad that you have decided to join us tonight. I've decided to have prayer up in my office. Stan isn't here. See what happens when Danny's not here. Change things up. If you have any prayer requests, make sure you list them in the comments. I do have the feed so I can see. And we'll definitely add you to the list, and I will pray for you. But know that if you don't mention your prayer requests, that God knows what your heart's desires are. Our devotion today, I decided to do yesterday's devotion from the upper room. It's called Taking the Leap. You're supposed to read Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 11, and they have a 3:11 listed. Ecclesiastes 3:11. God has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. And the devotion, I think why I picked this, it talked about birds. They had these decorated birdhouses for bluebirds in their yard. And they got their binoculars out and were watching the birdies, and they had babies in there. And they watched it as one by one, they tried to stick their head out. And even some of them hopped out on perch. But they didn't go all the way out. But they were kind of daringly at least getting out to the edge of where the birdhouse opening was. And they figured it out that probably by the end of the day, these birds would actually be able to figure out they could fly. And they made the equation between that and how God views our fledgling, our attempts at trying new things. Does God get excited when we step out on that perch and spread our wings? And then she mentioned that she was on a trip from North Carolina to Australia. Of course, this is before all the COVID stuff, but she went there for a prayer conference. And it was exciting and scary to travel. If you've ever traveled that far, it's definitely scary, it can be. She said that she was by herself. That's definitely scary. I've never flown by myself. Well, I did one time, but it was that far. She said it was frightening, but it helped deepen her faith and her prayer life. Good thing there's a prayer conference. But God's gift of instinct moves in baby birds, leading them to stretch their wings and grow. Just the right time. And her prayer was that we're given the same instinct, same direction from God when we want to try new things in ministry, especially, or personal growth. And may we be willing to spread our wings and go out on that perch and take that jump. Because the problem is we get out on that ledge. I know I've done that many times. That's one of my faults as a pastor. I have great ideas. And then I get out on that perch and I hear all the voices in my head that say, oh, you can't do this. You don't know what you're doing, which I don't. That's why God directs you, because God gives you the strength and the ability. If you did it on your own, you wouldn't be able to do it. And I listen to that, or you screwed this up before, and then I go right back in. I don't go spread my wings. And so that's one thing I definitely have to work on, to spread my wings and jump. Because if you never jump, you'll never know, you'll never fly, and you'll never do anything of substance. And we have to take risk in ministry. That we've always done it before thing isn't going to work. The same things that worked, 50 years ago aren't going to work today, especially in these times. That's why we're here doing prayer online, and we do Zoom meetings, and we have to embrace some of these new things. And it's helping us reach other people. We have a prayer ministry now here with you guys, and we've reached people that we wouldn't have reached before. So God uses when we jump and try to do new things. So make sure if you do have some prayer requests that you list them in the comments. But I'm going to go through the ones that we have, and then if I see any, hopefully I'll catch them and I'll add them to the list. We want to lift up those that have the virus that we know by name, Kathy and Yolanda. We want to lift up schools for parents and teachers, for students. I know there are students here in LAC are starting this week. So definitely keep the kids and parents and teachers all in prayer. We want to lift up those that have cancer. For Perry Ashman, Sherry Fisher Riley, for Mike, and for Helen. And we also want to lift up Marie Ashman, that's Perry Ashman's wife, who has diverticulitis. We want to lift up those from our church who we regularly lift up: the Blues, the Johnsons, Miss Mary, Mrs. Lanning, Reds, who still haven't got his heart all figured out, for Bev as well. For frontline essential workers, we still want to lift them up. They always need prayer, even when it's not COVID, especially healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, EMTs, paramedics. We also want to lift up our police and firefighters. Let's see, I see a comment. Yes, that's definitely a good message for recovery, Kim. I agree, because if you don't walk out in faith, you'll never make that step. Yeah, that's absolutely true. When I lift up Renee, who switched meds, and when I see you pray for Kay, even though she's home now, that she just continues to completely heal, and then it doesn't come back. Because once you get cellulitis, you can get it again. I found that out the hard way, and it's not fun. Lift up Jody for a healthy pregnancy, and for this house that they're going to move into to get inspected and have everything fall into place. They're getting their appliances, and they're doing some work on the house. So things are coming. It's just not in our time, God's time. Well, for Jimmy, who has back issues. For Nick, who has a fractured ankle, he's still healing. I want to lift up our churches, our pastors and leaders. And there was an added one today, pastor spouses. I can definitely pray for that one, because Dan puts up a lot of crap putting up with me and all of the things that has to do with ministry. For Terry, who works at Genesis at nursing home. For Aaron, who has stage 5 kidney failure. For Jen, for encouragement. For Yvonne, for strength. For George, to keep healing, responding, and doing well. For Betty, who has to have knee replacement. And also, I noticed today she asked for prayer, and she's just struggling. So I need to write that down. I'm going to remember. Okay. For Valerie, who's a pastor doing a new church start, what's considered a new church start. For unspoken requests, I've had a few of those today. People mention things, but they don't want to mention them to everyone, and that's okay. For Kenny, who is home, but he's still healing from the cellulitis. For the residents of the manor and those that can't visit their loved ones in the nursing home, I know that's hard. For those in the path, that had the hurricane, that was another one. Those that had just went through all the hurricane and the damage there have to restart. So we need to lift them up. For Vicky's daughter, for Maxine, for comfort, for healing. For Rich, who I guess by now probably is out of rehab, but he just went to rehab for alcoholism. For Lebanon, to continue to recover and heal. For Denise's brother, Dave, who has multiple myeloma. For people in the Midwest who had the derecho, the other storm, that just destroyed a lot of crops and the farmers there. For Marlene, who's moving to South Carolina, the house that she was going to get burnt down. I don't mean to laugh. That's out of nervousness. She didn't have any luck, bad luck. She wouldn't have any luck at all. But she did go down there this week and was able to get another place. She'll have to get the money up to be able to move next month. For Madison, who has stage 3 breast cancer. For those that are mourning, We are still remembering the Miller family and the Rule family. For Jill at college, for her to be safe and to be a witness of Christ. For Tom, who had a procedure on Thursday. And I think that's it. And since Kim mentioned her recovery journey, we'll just add you to the list for recovery journey. Because I'm a recovering alcoholic myself, and I understand that that journey is not easy, and prayer is always welcome. Recovery journey. Okay, I didn't see any other comments or requests, so let's go to God in prayer. And know that if you have requests on your hearts and minds, I will lift up those unspoken ones, and that's definitely God hears you, hears your heart. So let's pray. Lord, we thank you that we can have this prayer ministry, that even through this bad time of COVID, we can still have this blessing where we can reach out to others other than ourselves and concern with their concerns. And we lift up those that have the virus that we know by name, Kathy, who's still recovering, and for Yolanda. We want to lift up schools to you, all those that are involved with that, the teachers, the students, the administrators, and the parents that have had to make decisions on, and are going to continue probably making decisions. I pray especially for them this week, as school will be starting for many kids this week. You would just give them grace as they're dealing with crazy circumstances, whether it's online or hybrid or in person. I just ask for your love and your grace and your comfort to be in those situations. We want to lift up those that have cancer, for Perry Ashman, for Sherry Fisher-Riley, for Mike, for Helen. We want to lift up Marie Ashman as well, who has diverticulitis and is also taking care of her husband. We want to lift up those from our church, Lord, that are always on my hearts and minds. The Blues, the Johnsons, Mary, Mrs. Lanning, Reds, and Bev, that you would just touch them and help me to be better with staying in touch with them as well, that they would know that their church loves them, that you love them. I want to lift up frontline and essential workers to you, especially nurses and doctors, EMTs, paramedics, that you would keep them safe as they deal with the public. We also want to lift up police and firefighters to you, that you would keep them safe as they go forward and serve us. I lift up Renee, who had to switch meds. And I lift up Kay to you as she's still recovering. I'm sure that you would just continue to heal her and that this cellulitis would never come back. I lift up Jody to you, and I thank you for the progress she's been able to do on this, getting appliances for their new place. But I pray that all the electrician thing would go well, I guess, this week, and that the inspection would come soon so that they can move and just get adjusted to their new place. And I pray that she would have a healthy pregnancy. I lift up Jimmy to you, who has problems with his back, and I ask that his pain would be manageable, and that if he needs to have surgery, that you would give him the wisdom to make the right decision about it. I lift up our church to you, and I thank you for the faithful leaders that we have. We had meetings today, and sometimes things get said at meetings or the meetings after the meetings. So I pray that any hearts that were maybe disgruntled or anything that was said, that you would still be honored and that we would be able to see you working through us. I pray for all the churches in our area and their leaders and pastors. There was also a request for pastor spouses, and so I lift them up to you as they walk alongside and do ministry with us. And sometimes they don't get thanked, and so I pray that you would help them to feel appreciated and loved, and that their work would be noticed, and they would feel your love as they're serving you as well. I lift up Terry to you, who's at Genesis, and I just ask that she would have a better couple days. Seems like lately it's been rough, and it's hard working in a nursing home. And so I ask for extra grace for her and patience as she deals with the clients there, and also her fellow co-workers, that you would give her patience and grace and your love. I lift up Aaron to you, and I ask for healing for his kidneys and any other health concern that he has right now. He's been going through a lot of issues lately, and so I just ask for healing. I lift up Jen to you, and I thank you for all the good news that she's had lately, and for the bad news that she's had. I ask for comfort for her as well, that you would encourage her and help her to get done the jobs that she wants to do, and then give her the strength to do them. And when she doesn't have that strength and that ability, that you would comfort her heart. And lift up Yvonne that needs strength, and George, who we've seen him progress from not being able to talk or in a coma or whatever, and now he is talking and eating, and I thank you for his progress. And this it's an answer to prayer. I ask, though, you continue to heal him, and that he would be able to come home soon. I lift up Betty to you, who's mentioned she had to have knee surgery. I don't know if she's able to have it yet, but she's also just struggling today. And so I ask that you would comfort her heart and encourage her spirit, and help her to put people in her life that would encourage her as well. I lift up Valerie to you. I lifted up pastors, but this is a special one where she's doing a new church start. So I ask for you would bless her and just give her wisdom and a lot of patience with herself as she's trying to do this new church start, and everything is online. There's unspoken requests that was mentioned to me today, Lord. So whoever is listening or whoever is requested that's needed healing or hope or grace or your forgiveness, that you would grant that for them. I lift up Kenny to you. I thank God that he has been able to come home, but he's still having issues with his legs. And I ask that you continue to heal him and help him as he tries to figure out what to do next for his employment. I lift up the residents of the manor to you, and I ask that you would comfort the people that can't visit them and just keep them safe there. I lift up Vicky's daughter to you, and whatever need that she has, that you would provide. I lift up Maxine to you that may get discouraged. She's at the manor as well, and she just needs an extra sense of your presence and love. I lift up Rich to you, who's also been in rehab recently, and I think he's out. And so I just ask that you continue to help him with his recovery, and that you would give him strength on days that he wants to give up. And I ask that you would help him with a sponsor or any kind of program he's involved in. I lift up Lebanon to you, and I ask that continued healing for that land. I also lift up Denise's brother, Dave, who has multiple myeloma, who's still going through treatments. That you would strengthen his body and heal him body, soul, and spirit. I lift up the people in the Midwest who had the storm that went through, and now the people that have been in the path of this hurricane to have a new restart. I ask for our government to be able to help out, and for all the churches and other agencies to go to help them, that you would give them a sense of your love despite of what they see in front of them. I lift up Marlene to you, and I thank you that she was able to find this new place after the other one burnt down, and I ask that you would help her to stay calm as she's trying to get everything done to be able to move. I lift up Madison to you, who has breast cancer, and I ask for healing for her and strength for her body as she goes through treatments. I lift up Jill to you, who's at college, that she would stay safe, that she would be able to know your presence, that she would be a witness of her faith to her new friends. And I ask for comfort for all those that mourn today, especially for the Miller family and the Wolf family. And I also want to lift up Kim, who just joined in today, that said she had been encouraged in her recovery. And anyone that's going through recovery, Lord, I ask for extra grace and strength for that journey, because it's not easy. And in these times, it's when the world seems crazy, we just need to stay grounded in you. And so I thank you that we can have our recovery, and every day is a miracle. And any other requests that I may have forgotten to write down, or I have a bad habit doing that, Lord, I ask that you would help me to be better at that. And I ask all these things in your name. Amen. Well, thank you for joining us for prayer. If you ever have any prayer requests during the week, you can always email me at lorimitchell@hotmail.com, or you can message me on Facebook. Take care, friends. If you don't have a church family, or even if you do, you can tune in to Facebook, and I will make sure I take my tablet tomorrow so I can record and put on the YouTube. So be good. Like I always say, wear your mask, wash your hands, and take care. See you guys.